All right, picture this. A quiet Saturday morning in Willow Creek, a tidy little suburb where every lawn's trimmed just so, and the mailboxes all match like they're auditioning for a magazine cover. Kids are out riding bikes, folks are sipping coffee on their porches, and then, bam, there's Linda, the queen bee of the neighborhood HOA, strutting down Maple Drive like she owns the whole dang town, a sparkly baton in one hand, a wine glass sloshing Chardonnay in the other. She's barking orders at some poor teenage volunteers hauling balloon arches and folding chairs, setting up for what she's calling the Willow Creek Summer Spectacular, a party nobody asked for, but everybody's got to show up to, or else. Now, here's the kicker. Linda's gone and blocked off the only road in and out of the neighborhood with plastic barricades, traffic cones, and a giant inflatable dragon that looks like it's about to breathe fire on anyone who dares complain. What she doesn't know, what nobody saw coming, is that this very road, at this very moment, is the designated route for a National Guard convoy hauling sensitive equipment, and they're not about to detour for a bounce house and some burnt ribs. I'm Jake, by the way, just a regular guy who's lived in Willow Creek for a decade, trying to keep my head down and my grass short enough to avoid Linda's infamous fines. But that morning, man, it was like watching a train wreck in slow motion. You couldn't look away, even though you knew it was going to get ugly. Linda's been running the HOA like her personal fiefdom for years, handing out penalties for stupid stuff like using the wrong shade of beige on your shutters or hanging a wind chime that's too cheery. She once made my neighbor, Tom, repaint his entire fence because it was disrupting the aesthetic harmony. Harmony, my foot. This woman thrives on control, and we've all been tiptoeing around her, too scared to push back. But this time, she didn't just step over the line. She pole vaulted over it, and the fallout was something nobody in Willow Creek will ever forget. So, there's Linda, in her pink blazer and rhinestone tiara. She actually had Spectacular Queen embroidered on a sash, directing traffic like she's conducting a symphony, except it's just a bunch of confused delivery guys and a DJ blasting Backstreet Boys. She's got this wild glint in her eye, like she's finally living her dream of being the star of her own reality show. The rest of us? We're just trying to get through the day. I'm stuck at home because I can't get my car out for my kid's soccer game, and my neighbor Mrs. Alvarez is freaking out because she's got a doctor's appointment she can't miss. Nobody knows what's going on, but Linda's flyers, shoved under every door, made it clear. Community participation is mandatory. Mandatory, like we're in some kind of suburban cult. Then around 2 in the afternoon, we hear it, this low rumble like thunder rolling in, except it's not a storm. It's a line of armored Humvees creeping down Maple Drive, their engines growling, kicking up dust. The National Guard's here, and they're not here for the potato salad. Turns out, this road's been booked for weeks for a high-stakes convoy drill, carrying prototype fuel cells and medical gear that can't sit around baking in the sun. Permits were filed, the city knew, the state knew, but Linda? She didn't check with anybody. She just saw a chance to flex her power and took it. No questions asked. The lead Humvee stops maybe 10 feet from Linda, who's standing there, twirling her baton like she's daring them to try her. The driver, a young guy who looks like he's seen scarier things than a middle-aged woman in heels, leans out and says, real calm, "Ma'am, this is a federally sanctioned route. We need you to clear the road." Linda takes a sip of her wine, smirks, and snaps back, "Not today, soldier. This is the Willow Creek Spectacular, and you can take your tanks around." Tanks? Lady, they're Humvees, but okay. The crowd, mostly HOA loyalists munching on corn on the cob, cheers weakly, half because they're scared of her, half because they're not sure what's happening. I'm watching from my porch, phone in hand, recording because I know this is about to go viral. That's when things get wild. A Black Hawk helicopter swoops overhead, low enough to make the inflatable dragon wobble like it's drunk. Linda doesn't even flinch. She just raises her glass like she's toasting the chopper. But the vibe shifts. Kids stop bouncing in the bounce house. The DJ's music feels out of place, and people start whispering, is she really trying to block the freaking military? The convoy's commander, Captain Marcus Reed, steps out of the second vehicle, all business, built like a linebacker, but with this quiet, don't-test-me energy. He walks up to Linda, cool as a cucumber, and says, "Ma'am, we've got legal clearance from the city and state. Move your party to the side lawn." and we'll be out of your hair. Linda laughs, and says, "This is our private road, darling. You need a permit to drive a golf cart here, let alone those gas guzzlers." Now, Marcus is a pro. He's led convoys through floods and city riots. But a glittery baton and a dragon balloon? That's new. He tries reasoning with her, explaining that the equipment they're hauling is time-sensitive, that any delay could mess up a national test. Linda's not having it. She turns to her crowd, arms crossed, and shouts, "They want to ruin our celebration. Should we let them?" A few folks clap, but most of us are peeking through our blinds, texting each other like, "Is she nuts?" My buddy Tom texts me, "Dude, my wife's dialysis is in 30 minutes, and we're trapped. What do we do?" I don't know, man, but I'm starting to think Linda's not just annoying. She's dangerous. The situation's spiraling, and it's not just about a party anymore. The convoy's carrying experimental fuel cells, and every minute there's stalled risks frying the tech. The governor's office gets wind of it, and suddenly, this isn't a local HOA drama. It's a federal incident. Marcus radios for backup, and the cops show up, looking like they'd rather be anywhere else. One officer, a guy named Dave who's dealt with Linda's nonsense before, tries to talk her down. "Linda, you're breaking like 5 laws here. Clear the road, or this gets serious." She waves at him like he's a waiter and says, "Grab a plate, Dave. Glad you boys in blue could make it." Dave mutters to his partner, "I need a new job." I'm dying laughing, but also sweating because this is getting way out of hand. Linda's still posing for selfies in front of the Humvees, posting on Instagram with captions like #SpectacularQueen and #Army vs. HA. She's got no clue she's digging her own grave. Meanwhile, the chopper's circling, the radios are crackling, and Marcus is on the phone with the governor's team. I overhear a neighbor say the feds are calling it obstruction of a federal operation, which sounds like something you go to jail for. Linda, though, she's on the DJ's mic now, ranting about sacred HOA ground and how she's defending the Constitution. I'm like, "Lady, you're defending a bounce house, not the Bill of Rights." Then comes the turning point. This quiet woman, Sarah Chun, who's lived here for years but never says much at HOA meetings, steps out of the crowd. She's married to Marcus, which nobody knew until now, and she's a lawyer who knows municipal law like the back of her hand. She walks up to Linda, calm but firm, and says, "Linda, you're not just breaking HOA rules. You're breaking federal law. You forged a deed claiming you own this road, didn't you?" Linda's face goes white, but she doubles down, screeching, "You're a government plant. This is my neighborhood." Sarah doesn't blink. She pulls out her phone, shows the crowd emails Linda sent claiming legal ownership of Maple Drive, and says, "These are fake. I checked with the county. You got no claim here." The crowd gasps. Even Linda's loyalists start backing away. Sarah keeps going, listing every shady thing Linda's done. Finding people for unapproved flowers, skimming HOA funds for a gold-plated mailbox, banning Tom's vegetable garden because it wasn't HOA foliage. It's like watching a prosecutor dismantle a case in court. Linda tries to interrupt, but Sarah cuts her off with, "You've bullied this neighborhood for years." That ends today. The cops finally move in, gently pulling Linda to the curb as she screams about calling the president. The convoy rolls forward, the dragon balloon gets rolled aside, and for the first time all day, the road's doing what it's meant to do. By dusk, Willow Creek's a circus. News vans are parked on every corner, neighbors are swapping videos, and Linda's meltdown is trending nationwide with hashtags like #Dragon vs. Humvee and #HOA Rebellion. She's released from custody, but served with a court summons for obstruction, reckless endangerment, you name it. Back at her house, she's pacing in her silk robe, muttering about a deep state HOA coup, sending unhinged emails claiming she's the real president. Nobody's buying it. The HOA board, led by Sarah now, votes to boot her out, and an audit uncovers years of fraud. Thousands spent on branded napkins, fake fines funneled to her personal account, even noise-canceling hedge trimmers. Who needs those? Months later, Linda's gone. A moving truck showed up one day, and she vanished without a word, leaving behind a half-dead lawn and a for sale sign. Rumor has it she's trying to start a new HOA somewhere else, calling it the Linda League. Good luck with that. Willow Creek, though, it's different now. Sarah's running the HOA, and it's actually normal. We've got potluck dinners, kids drawing on sidewalks, even wind chimes tinkling in the breeze. It's like we all woke up from a bad dream. Looking back, it's wild how one woman's need for control turned a quiet suburb into a national punchline. Linda thought she was untouchable, but all it took was a convoy, a lawyer with receipts, and a fed-up neighborhood to bring her down. Makes you wonder, what would you do if someone like Linda ran your community? Would you speak up, or would you just keep your head down? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you've got a crazy HOA story, I want to hear it. Hit that like button, share this with your neighbors, and let's keep the conversation going. Peace out, Willow Creek style.